Unless Aaron Kaplan, once you brought it up, maybe we should just do it this Sunday.
I'm fine with that.
No.
Gershon here says no.
It's too soon.
Stay here. Just tell you what. No.
Yeah.
Where do we go?
To rent the second car.
We're by the Mishna on Kofnon.
Okay, we're on Kufnon. Let's go.
Is Sunday better than Thursday?
Thursday anyway?
What?
Isn't
Is Sunday better than Thursday?
Whatever it is. Thursday was better for me, but then I realized Thursday's not better for me, but I don't care. Whatever the island wants. On Sunday, Sunday's all good by me too.
Sunday works on my end.
Sunday works on my end. I'm just thinking, I'm just thinking if we do it Thursday, we have a problem with the daf that night. If we're doing it at 8 o'clock with Mincha Ma'ariv and then the daf sticking it in, Sunday you have more time.
No, Sunday you have to do, the daf's over on Monday, so Sunday you'd have to do 2 blocks.
No, but we could do it next Sunday. Doesn't have to be this Sunday.
Oh, I don't know. That's whatever. Okay, y'all, we can put it out on the chat. We gotta go over here. I mean, yeah.
I vote whatever's better for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Naftali, amazing.
Yeah.
You're gonna be in for ugly anyway. He's going in for that.
No, I'm going in.
Here it's all.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm on the other side of the table.
Gershon, I'm 4 hours out of Cleveland, Gershon.
Really?
Yeah.
But you left already.
I left it. No, I'm on my way in.
On your way in? Oh, you said Tuesday, Taka. Yeah. All right, maybe I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, no.
Yeah, we'll try.
Yeah.
The rest should keep me alive tonight.
Bezos Hashem. When are you learning for 10 minutes?
Oh, fine.
No. You'll learn first. Okay. So up the Mishnah, yeah? Tonight is about, again, March here, yeah? Tonight is an important daf. Okay, if you want to change your Shabbos, then book out right now. I mean, if you don't want to change your Shabbos, but tonight is very, very, very important daf. Yes, it's up the Mishnah. Lo yiskar adam. Oh, it's still on the colorful. Okay, I'll leave it. Lo yiskar adam.
Oh, that's the thing, yeah.
My kid was using it. Lo yiskar adam payil and b'Shabbos. V'lo yomer adam l'chaver liskar payil. You're not allowed to rent workers on Shabbos, and you're not allowed to tell somebody else to rent workers. All right, so there's a lot in that second line right there. So first of all, why are you not allowed to rent workers? Because we say mimtzah cheftzcha, that's the pasuk, and you're not allowed to. So that's a weekday activity, and you're not allowed to deal with any sort of financial weekday activities. So you're not allowed to rent. You're not allowed to rent a worker, and you're not allowed to tell your friend to rent a worker either. Right. So which the obvious question on it is, why would you think that you could ask your friend to rent to do an assur, right? Which is also very interesting because Rashi says you're going to be over on the assur lifnei iver, right? So first, I don't clearly understand why you'd be over on lifnei iver. The guy has his own mind. It's not like you commanded him to do it. You asked him to rent workers. He could say, no, I can't do it. It's Shabbos, right? It's a little different, but that's one thing. And the other chiddush from Rashi is that you could be over lifnei iver daraisa on an assur d'Rabbanan, because this is only an assur d'Rabbanan. Right, to mitzvah cheftzah, to rent the worker on Shabbos is the Rabbanan, not a deraisa, right? But Rashi's saying you could be over in a deraisa, lifnei iver on a Rabbanan. Fine. Okay, so whatever it is, so you're not allowed to rent that worker.
I mean, he thinks it's shnaim sha'asu.
I never thought of that. Yeah.
And therefore, it would be lifnei iver because his friend also thinks that.
It's shnaim.
They both think it's shnaim sha'asu. They both think it's
he doesn't know because he said to do it.
It's twice removed, kind of thing. He's asking him. They're both asking the guy to do it.
I never thought about that, but okay, I hear. Okay, so the ein machshichan al techum lisra loy pa'ilim ulhavi peiros. You're not allowed to. Literally means you're not allowed to darken on the techum. Meaning, so you got a mitzvah Shabbos, you want to get the workers. So you're not going to actually rent them out on Shabbos, but you're going to walk towards the end of the techum to the maximum you could walk, so you're able to get there right after Shabbos to the workers, ulahavi peiros, and to bring fruit. Let's say you have fruit that grows on a farm right outside the techum, so you want to be able to get it as fast as possible after Shabbos. So you go and you bring you walk all the way to the edge of the techum, so you're not allowed to do that either. But what you can do is you can pull this scam. You're allowed to watch your field on Shabbos. There's no issur of watching your field on Shabbos. So you can walk around towards the edge of the techum so you could see your field, and that's mutter. And then because you're already out there, then bring the payers. So that would be a way to scam the system a little bit. If the rule is what I'm allowed to be zoichen the amira, whatever I'm allowed to whatever I'm allowed to mention, whatever I'm allowed to talk about, I'm allowed to walk out of the techum. Meaning, if you're allowed to talk about something on Shabbos, then you'd be able to walk for the techum for that too. We'll see in the Gemara what that means, or what's the chiddush of that line in the Gemara. So Gemara says, Pshita, Maishnu chaveiroi. Of course, it's pashid. Why if he's not allowed to hire workers, why would his friend be able to? It's talking about a guy, a friend who's a guy, which is a chiddush that the Gemara is thinking that a nochri can be called. That's Rabbi Kiva Eger on this. Then brings down from the Gemara on Sukkah. But here the Gemara is saying that a nochri would be called a friend. Anyway, so we're saying these. What? Well, no, it wouldn't be. The Rashi would be going on the Maskana, right? So anyway, so Rav Papa says that it's talking about a guy. The obvious question, Maskal Rashi, Amir L'Nachri Shvus. Amir L'Nachri is assur deraisa. I'm sorry, assur derabanan of Shvus. You're not allowed to ask a guy to do anything on Shabbos. So why would you think you're allowed to go ask a guy to hire workers for you? You can even say that it's a friend who's Yisrael. A person is not allowed to tell his friend to go rent him workers. Okay, now it's important for those that want to discuss business on Shabbos. It's important to pay attention to these few lines. So you're allowed to tell your friend, it appears to me that you're going to stand with me tonight. Now, the understanding, there's nothing wrong with saying that, right? Meaning, what we're going to see from this Gemara is that the only things that are assur to talk about on Shabbos are things that are assur to do on Shabbos. Now, me and you are allowed to stand on Shabbos and shmooze with each other. Just like I can tell you on a Shabbos morning, say, before mincha, we're going to stand here and talk, right? And Shabbos afternoon, that's perfectly mutter. So I'm allowed to say the same thing, that it nira, that in the evening, we're going to stand here and shmooze, which is basically a code word for me telling you, we got to talk, and I want to talk to you tonight. But the reason why it works is because you're not saying anything wrong on Shabbos. You can't say to a person, I'm going to drive over to you tonight to speak to you. That's not allowed because you're not allowed to drive on Shabbos. All right, so that's what we're saying. We must need some money. And our Mishna goes like you can't tell your friend that it appears to me that we're going to stand here with me tonight. You can't tell that to a person. So halacha Rav Shua ben Karcha. The halacha is like Rav Shua ben Karcha. My time with Rav Shua ben Karcha. Where does Rav Shua ben Karcha get his reason from? Right? That's the pasuk, right? That we learned it out. That it's mimtzah chevtzecha, to find your objects. The davar davar, to speak things. Dibur assur, hear her mutter. Speaking is assur. Speaking in business is assur. Thinking about business is mutter. Right? So therefore, since this, when I say to my friend, it appears that we're going to stand here together tonight, since I didn't talk about any assur, even though in my head I was thinking assur because we're going to talk business tonight, but since I didn't actually say it out, therefore it's mutter. And that is true. That's the way we paskin, that you are allowed to think about business matters on Shabbos. It's not preferred, which we'll see later. It's definitely not preferable, but lemaisa, it's mutter to think about business on Shabbos.
Yaakov, when you say think about business, what about, is this considered planning? Meaning, is there an assur that you're not supposed to plan for after Shabbos? Why is this not, when you code worded to him the idea that you wanted to use him after Shabbos, why is that not planning for after Shabbos? By just code working. I understand you didn't say I want you to do something. Yeah, achana. I'll say achana. You're still planning over here, even if you use code words.
No.
Why not? It's not achana.
He's planning to plan.
Yeah, but lemaisa.
He is planning lemaisa. What does that mean?
See, hachana is something that you are trying to save time from doing it on Motzei Shabbos. Meaning, you want to wash the dishes on Shabbos afternoon so that you can go out and play ball right away, right after Shabbos. That's assur hachana. But if it's something that you're not doing on Shabbos in order to save time from Motzei Shabbos, then that's not hachana. Now, that being said, I'm not sure. Is this saving time?
Isn't that why you're
not?
kind of
Maybe.
bringing
Why
it up
I
now?
have to walk to the guy's house?
It's a fact.
Right. That's the whole point of bringing it up now. Otherwise, just wait.
I hear.
No, I don't think he's doing it at the same time. He's doing it because.
Why not? Isn't he doing it at the same time?
No.
Why not? It's going to be much faster.
He's setting up a meeting. Set it up later. Set it up now. It doesn't matter.
How's that not planning? That's literally what we consider planning on
No,
an
but the
everyday
question is,
basis.
it's definitely planning. It's no doubt planning. The question is it the type of planning that's assur? Right?
Wait,
Okay, I hear.
is
I'm
planning
not sure.
something to do something that's assur on Shabbos.
Right.
He's not planning to do something that's assur on Shabbos now. He's planning on getting together. Getting together is not on Shabbos. Planning, it's not.
No, but he is planning for what's a Shabbos. He's doing it at the same time.
But that's not.
Right.
Yeah.
I hear.
It in itself.
I hear. That reminds me, by the way, Leo Ikovic, your question last night about taking notes, learning Gemara. So we found, me and Gershon, Gershon found it. The different shilas about what? About notes. Let's say a guy proofreads Svarim, So the Piskei Teshuvos brings that if he proofreads Svarim, then he should not be reading a sefer that he normally would be proofreading on Shabbos. He taka assurs that. But
is that because of notes or is that hachana?
No, notes sort of frame. I mean, the guy might write notes.
His next shadow is the hachana.
Well, yeah. So, but really, there he's learning. So if you're actually learning, that's not going to be hachana. And then also he said that to read notes of Maram Mekaymis on the wall, like a shir. Somebody said, why don't you say that that's also a problem? And there he says his main reason was that he's going to be you're going to embarrass people if you don't put up the Maram Mekaymis. They're not going to understand the shir. Which I don't know why they just can't stay quiet and then nobody's going to be choshed of anything. But I don't know. Whatever. He doesn't discuss your exact question. He does bring that the gezerah of perhaps tilting the light for the candle is, I don't know if this was your question or somebody else's question. Oh, I think it was David Spire. Is he here tonight? Yeah, you're here. Yeah, I think your kasha, he does. Yeah, so remember you asked last night that tilting the candle maybe is more, why is it different than the writing? So he actually says that tilting the candle is a much easier thing to be over on than to go find a pen and to write, which I can't say I understand fully, but he did bring that down. Okay, so anyway.
Wait, who brought that? Who brought that down?
In the Piskei Teshuvos on Shin and Siman Shin Zayin, on this Siman and Shulchan Aruch, he brings down that it's easier to tilt the lamp.
That also I was thinking about yesterday. Like back then, they couldn't just pick up a pen to write something down in the time of the Shulchan Aruch or the Gemara. That was a whole acer. I mean, you really had to go out.
No, you're right. You're right. So that's where you're mechaven to this. What I forgot who he brings it from. Piskei Teshuvos, but you're mechaven to that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So very good. So now we get into to hear her of hear her kediva or not. So Rami le Rav Acha bar Rav Huna le Rava. Me or Rav Yochanan Dibur Assur Hira Mutter. Does Rav Yochanan say that speaking is assur, thinking is mutter? Amar Hira Lav Kedibur. There we see that thinking is not like speaking. You're allowed to think in Torah everywhere, except for a bathhouse and in a bathroom. Right? So what do you see? Right? So you see that it's mutter. Here you see here is kedibur, because why are you not allowed to think in learning in the bathroom, right, or in the bathhouse? It must be that it's like you're saying it. So the Gemara answers, no, because you have a different thing. You need your machane, your camp, to be holy, and that you're not going to have if you're thinking about learning in these places that are disgusting. So then that's not kedusha.
Are we comparing thinking in the bathroom to thinking not in the bathroom?
What do you mean?
Meaning, so you can't think about Torah in the bathroom. So therefore, what? I can't think about other. Now are we trying to compare it to thinking on Shabbos?
No, we're just asking on whether here is kedibur. Just is thinking like speaking. So we've said thinking is not like speaking, but here in the bathroom clearly it is like speaking. It's as if you're talking about Torah in the bathroom. So Gemara answers, no, that's not because you're speaking and learning. It's not because it's like talking. There's a separate issue of you having thinking about Torah in Al Machanecha Kodesh, right? Oh, is that a song? Gershon says it's a song, parrots. I don't know.
It shouldn't have been a song.
Yeah. Anyways, so
I
that's
thought
what
it was a
saying,
protest.
right?
That too.
Second one says Hachanami ksiva lo yira b'cha ervas davar. So here too it says ervas davar, right? Only speaking. So Gemara answers Ahumi Bailik Rav Yehuda Damar Rav Yehuda Akum Arum also Likros Kriya Shema Kenegde, and a guy who's undressed, you're not allowed to read Kriya Shema next to him. My area Akum Afil Yisrael Nami. Why are you saying a guy only? What about a Yisrael? If Yisrael's undressed, you're not allowed to say Shema. We're not allowed to say anything. What about Shema too? Let me buy comment. No, it means let me buy Yisrael. To assur, I don't need to tell you Yisrael that of course it's also to say something in front of him and any davar shebekadusha in front of him. I will akum giving to sive asher basar chamorim pesarim, that they're like chamor. They're like this is not politically correct here, right? They're like chamor. Yeah.
Didn't a Sephardi rabbi get in trouble for this? Politically speaking.
Yes. What can you do? I mean, the Gemara is the Gemara. Aim a shopper dummy. So you would think that's like davening in front of an animal. Kamash Malone. So Kamash Malone that you can't. So Gemara says Aim Hachanami. Right? Why don't we talk to say yes? So maybe you should be able to daven in front of a guy who's undressed. They didn't see the error of their fathers, and that's talking about by Noach. Right? So they didn't see the error of their fathers. So clearly you see that they weren't Jewish yet. So that's still considered an erva, so therefore you're not allowed to. Fine. So the Gemara continues and says, "V'dibur mi assur is speaking assur v'Rav Chisda, meaning is it assur to speak on Shabbos? V'Rav Chisda, Rav Amnuna, Damri Tavai, Rav Chisda and Rav Huna both say cheshbonish shel mitzvah mutar l'chashim Shabbos. You are allowed to make calculations of mitzvahs on Shabbos. From Rav Elazar, paiskim tzedakah l'aniyim b'Shabbos. You're allowed to give tzedakah to aniyim on Shabbos. Amar Rav Yaakov bar Idi, Amar Rav Yochanan, mefakhin pikuach nefesh, pikuach rabim b'Shabbos. You're allowed to deal with pikuach nefesh and anything that the public needs on Shabbos. You're allowed to go to shul to deal with public matters on Shabbos. You're allowed to go to all these stadium type things, right? And that's because they're basically like convention centers in order to deal with public matters. You're allowed to deal with shidduchim to get kids engaged. You could also deal with that last one is the interesting one. You're allowed to deal with children to teach them how to learn and to also teach them a trade. It's a mitzvah to teach the kid a trade. So that means l'chayra. Whatever. First of all, let's back up before we get into my contemporary issue hack. Let's just get the shot. Right. So basically, the kasha is that you see that you are allowed to do tons of different financial cheshbonos on Shabbos, right? Now, I mean, the answer is going to be obvious, but it goes through all these examples of things that you're allowed to do, right? So the Gemara answers, it's because it says, yours. To take care of your own things is assur. But to take care of mutar. So all these cases that the Gemara discussed, all are mitzvahs for Hashem's sake. You may benefit from it, but bottom line is they're all for Hashem's sake, right? Giving tzedakah and what? Yeah, right. Right. So you see, lalam deyumnas is considered a mitzvah. So does that mean that a guy can study for a college course? I get this question almost every week. Can I study for my test on Shabbos? Does that mean that you're allowed to study for a test on Shabbos because it's considered dvar mitzvah? What is that? Not umnus. What do you mean?
It's a memory game today in college.
Whatever it is, you need to get that piece of paper. And the umnus is that's a way you get your person to make a living. Is you gotta get that piece of paper by hook or by crook. More by crook, unfortunately,
true,
but
it'd be easier for me to say that you could walk chutz l'tchum to go to some blacksmith to watch him work than to do this.
No, I'm saying, but does this mean to actually teach them? Does that mean
Yeah.
we could have school open on Shabbos? Is that what it's saying?
As
I didn't
long as there's
understand
no
it like that.
malacha there.
I understood it that it's to arrange it or to arrange payment to the teachers and stuff like
too.
that. I didn't learn it that it means that you're actually allowed to have a study session of secular subjects. Anybody want to weigh in on this or?
Well, Rashi says the actual teaching of the craft is a mitzvah, and that's what he seems to be implying when he says that this is what's mutter. Why is Rashi bringing that up then? Who cares that?
Which part? When it says the mitzvah, the kol shein melamdei omas
Yeah.
melamdei listus?
Yeah, well, if he's talking about just arranging it, why is he bringing in the mitzvah? He's saying that to arrange it is
No,
mutter
it's
because
explaining
there's
the
a mitzvah.
background is that you have to teach somebody umnus. You have to teach umnus, otherwise you're going to become a crook, right? I'm saying what about tinaik lalamda? What's the first case? Tinaik lalamda? What do you mean? You're teaching it. What's wrong with that? Right? What's tinaik lalamda?
Yeah, for the malamed.
Why can't I?
The malamed's doing his job.
I understand, but it's still Torah.
True, but the way I said,
I hear. I understood it, but I don't know. I understood it to mean to arrange the courses and all that, and how much you're going to get paid, etc., etc.
See, Yaakov, they bring down from the Shulchan Aruch that from this relating to this Gemara that it's permitted to hire him, but you can't specify a fee. So it seems like from the Shulchan Aruch, what the Shulchan Aruch is learning out from here is like you're saying that it's only
That's
that you can
probably
hire
where I
somebody.
got it from. I just forgot.
But if the Shulchan Aruch is coming from this Gemara and saying you still can't specify a fee, it must be talking about just arranging to teach.
Right. No, I hear. Okay, so maybe that's where I got it from. Yeah. Okay, very good. Anyway, so that's I don't understand the Gemara's Havamina. The Gemara seemingly thinks that it should be because you're allowed to do everything from a mitzvah, so Mamela you're allowed to also do things that are not a mitzvah. And the Gemara answers no. Mitzvahs you're allowed to do on Shabbos. Everything else you're not allowed to do.
See, Yaakov, this is deraisa.
Mitzvah chefzacha is no. It's close. It's carved to a deraisa. It's carved to a deraisa, but it's not treated as a deraisa. We look at Api Kabbalah. It's Api Kabbalah, but Lamais it's looked at as a derabana. Right? Fine. Now the next 4 lines at the bottom here are the most important. That where I think a lot of us make a mistake, and what we discuss on Shabbos comes from these 4 lines. Amar Yom Shmuel, meaning l'chumra. A lot of people do it l'chumra, not l'kula. Right? Amar Yom Shmuel, cheshbonis shel. Now, there's 2 ways to understand this next word. It could be mala, melech, or malach. Right? Rashi says it's 2. Mal, meaning malach. The word mem lam and chav can mean to ask advice. Right? Or malach. Rashi in the second shot says, "What's it to you?" Meaning, if I got no money, right, and I want to discuss the stock market on Shabbos, right? Now I got no skin in the game because I got no money, right? So that would be malach. What's it to you? To talk about on Shabbos, it has nothing. That's not business. It's not business, right? Meaning, if it's something that's totally not negay, like I want to sit here and discuss how much some rich guy made a wedding for, and blah blah blah. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not making a wedding. I'm not making a rich wedding. Whatever it is. So then the Shmuel is saying, right? There's a mutter l'chashbon b'Shabbos. Again, Amar Yudam Shmuel, chashbon is shal malach, v'shal ma bekach, or what does that have to do with you? Mutter l'chashbon b'Shabbos, you're allowed to make those calculations. So basically, if I want to, and unfortunately, this is what people do, they're busy counting everybody else's money. So I decide I want to count how much money this guy made on a deal, and it has nothing to do with me, then it would be allowed on Shabbos. Tani nami hachi chashbon is she'avru. Cheshbonis that already happened, chasid and lios that are going to be assur l'chashbon. You're not allowed to make a cheshbon. Shamalach or melech, b'shel ma bekach mutter l'chashbon. That you're allowed to do. Or a minhag, I'll ask you a stira. Cheshbon cheshbonis she'ein tzrichen. You're allowed to make cheshbonis that you don't need. Ve'ein mechashbon cheshbonis she'tzrichen b'Shabbos, but you're not allowed to make cheshbonis that you need on Shabbos. Keitzad omer adam l'chaver kach l'kach paylim. I use this and this amount of workers for this field. I spent this and this amount of money on this house. So that you're allowed to say, this is how much I spent, right? And this is how much I'm going to spend. right? So you see, it's a stira. Here it says that you are allowed to. You are allowed to. I'm sorry, you're not allowed to discuss these things. So Gemara says, the Bryce itself is a kasha. Meaning you said, first you said that talking about finances that have nothing to do with you are mutter, and then you're saying things that are talking about finances that have nothing to do with you are assur. One is talking about where it has to do with you, it has to do with business that he had. Well, one is talking about what he hasn't paid, and one is talking about that he has paid. Right? Meaning you have the money, you don't have the money. Meaning, is it negaya? The practical way of understanding this, the way I think I understand it, is it negaya to you or not? If it's negaya to you, it has to do with you, then it's assur. If it has nothing to do with you, then it's mutter. Right? So that's basically and that's the way we paskin. Right? So basically, if let's say I come and I don't know, I got a new watch. Right? And a guy asked me, how much did you pay for that watch? Am I allowed to answer him how much I paid on Shabbos or not?
You do whatever you want if you say Nish Shabbos Garet.
Very good. We're trying to avoid that one, right? Right? But let's say I don't know. But really, people are very machmir on this. If I have no interest in buying this watch, and I'm never going to buy this watch, I could care less about the watch, then yes, 100% you can tell me how much you paid. Because what does that have to do with anything? There's nothing to do with anything. But if there's a chance that I'm going to like that watch, right? If I hear that he only paid $5, for $5 I'll buy that watch. Then it's awesome, right? So meaning things that have nothing to do with you.
Saying if somebody says, "Oh, how much was that air conditioner? It's cooling off your room very well," and the guy tells him, "Oh, it's $150." Can't do that because you're interested in buying an air conditioner.
Correct. If you're interested in buying an air conditioner, it's absolutely awesome. But if you just bought yourself an air conditioner and you just want to see if you got a better deal than your friend, and the return policy is over with, then you would be able to discuss it. I mean, again, it's only finances. So we're learning how to big cooler here. I mean, we're learning how to big chumrah and a big cooler. The big chumrah is that
more than.
well, I mean, listen, you're not allowed to discuss business. Unfortunately, I mean, that's what we do. We all discuss business. Even if it doesn't have to necessarily be dollars and cents, but we discuss about what's going on and what's coming and going, stocks, whatever it is, which is assur. On the other hand, if it has nothing to do with you and it's not negaya to you, then it's mutter to discuss it. Right? Fine. Okay, so let's see. So you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to put yourself to the edge of the techum. Now, what's interesting here is that this Gemara seems to be not in the right spot, because this Gemara that we're discussing here has nothing to do with the techum, right? So it has to do with the previous Gemara. So Tanur Rabbanan, just a continuation. Tanur Rabbanan. But l'chayr, the word ein machshichin is in the wrong place. That's what I would think. Right? So Tanur Rabbanan. Ma'aseh b'chasid echad. There was a ma'aseh with a chasid echad. Shenirvutz like peretz b'seich sadei. Peretz. There you go. You're in the daf. Yeah, you know what they say about anybody it's mentioned in Shas. They say he has the ruach hakodesh or something. No, there you go. So parrots, yeah. So talking about ma'aseh b'chasid echad shenirvutz like parrots b'seich sadei. He got, but it doesn't mean that though. He got his field got a hole in the fence. V'nimlach aleh legoydra, and he nimlach from the word we said before, right? Maloch, but he thought about it to legoydra to build the fence on Shabbos. And he remembered that it's Shabbos. And that chasid stayed away, and he never built that fence again. Because you hear what he did, this Maisa? His fence broke on Shabbos. He thought about, I better go. He started making cheshbonis, how much a new fence is going to cost, etc., etc. Then he chapped at Shabbos. So therefore, because of that, he never fixed his fence. Right? And then a nace happened to him, also like slaf. And what do you call it? A caper bush, whatever that is. And from that, he had parnasa, and the people of his house had parnasa. What? Oh, right. That's what they were. I didn't know they can make you any money, but yeah. So whatever it is, so he did something that was totally shalaikadin, right? See, this is where you get. That's where you look in Shulchan Aruch, or the Noisei Kalim. I don't remember who, whatever. They say that you should not. It's better not to think about finances based on this Gemara here. Because if the guy was totally off base, and why was he getting rewarded? Elamai, it is better not to think about anything. I think that somebody once told me that they read the book about Paul Reichman, and when his deal was going down the tubes, when he lost most of his money with the Canary Wharf project, so his family had said, and went down like a Friday afternoon. It looked like he was losing it. Not one word over Shabbos. They said not one word did he mention. It was a regular Shabbos. Can you imagine that? I can't even imagine. But yeah, I'm pretty sure somebody told that to me years ago. Okay, so I'm Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel.
Yeah, but I don't. Did he get saved from that deal?
No, he lost all his money. He lost all his money, and so did every yeshiva. Never.
No, it's not a riot for what he did, but it's saying that he had control.
No, right. He didn't. Right. He had right. Exactly. It wasn't shot.
Not the feel-good story you want.
Exactly. Thank you for clarifying that. That is exactly right. But the point is that a man had azah koyach to not to me. You know what I mean? I have a credit card bill. I don't. You know what I mean? I have a little credit card bill. And late, I start talking about it on Shabbos. You know what I mean? Big deal. Yeah. I mean,
people who think that they're really investing, but they're just guys that are gambling. They talk about their investments over Shabbos. The guys who are like buying stock that really don't know what you're talking about, because they're not really making business deals, just gamble.
Yeah, but they think that they are. No,
I'm just saying, like, I don't think it's real business. It's just
you
know,
mean it's
they're
the
having
same as
fun.
sports. You say it's the same as sports.
Yeah, it's as though you're gambling on sports. It's like idle chatter, right? Idle chatter. It's not supposed to, but it's not assur.
Right. Well, we did say that the Taisus way back when we had the sugya like 100 blot ago. No, it wasn't 100, like 50 blot ago. Only because I happen to have seen it today. Yerushalmi says B'kaishi, they were matter to say Shalom Aleichem to people on Shabbos. Right. So if you go with that Yerushalmi, then it's certainly not allowed. But then again, if that's the case, then every kiddush has to be canceled no matter what. Because
hold on, one is allowed to gamble on sports?
And it depends. It depends if you really think you have a chokhmah about it, then it's assur. If you don't, then you have what to rely on. If you think it's just random, then you'd have what to rely on. Okay, so this next Gemara also very important. Amar Yehuda Amar Shmuel, mutar la'adam loimer lechaver, and a lot of people don't understand this. Rav David, you're going to say this. You don't have to do. If you go with this Gemara, a lot of times when they say Nishtav Shabbos Gereh, you don't even have to come on to that. I believe this is a kula here. Mutar la'adam loimer lechaveri lekrach ploni ani haylech lemachar shem yesh bargain haylech. Now, a person could say, let's say, I could say, you know what, Sunday I'm going to Cleveland. As long as you say it that way, you don't say I'm driving to Cleveland because that's assur, and you don't say I'm flying to Cleveland. You just say I am going to Cleveland. It's mutter to say that. Why? And that's not called talking about weekday activities. Why? Because in Yesh Burganin, we're going to see this Bez Hashem and Erevin. Burganin are these little huts that they made so that to keep everything inside the techum. Right? The techum is 2,000 amas. Where you have a house every 70 amas, then you're going to extend the boundaries of the city. So since theoretically you could have these Burganin, right? And theoretically I can make these little huts every 70 amas from here to Cleveland, even though the chances of me doing that are very slim.
Nowadays, no one would ever do such a thing.
That's true, but but that's right. That's the amazing cool of this Gemara. Since theoretically it's possible for me to get there beheter, therefore it's mutter. I remember last summer we were talking about taking a trip.
Well, you can make these burgenin on Shabbos?
No. But theoretically you could.
No, they're there already.
Right, but if there is a way for me to get to Cleveland on Shabbos, theoretically.
But this Shabbos, there's no way for you to get there. You have to prepare it before Shabbos.
How do you know I didn't prepare it? I'm just telling you that I'm going on a vacation on Sunday. Can I tell you on Shabbos and Shul, by the way, Sunday I'm going on vacation to Florida. Right? So the Gemara is saying, yes, I could do that. Oh, Florida's out of the techum. The answer is
because
no.
You may have made,
you
could have made burgenin.
Correct.
I wouldn't have known.
If I say I'm flying, if you ask me how you're getting there and I say, I'm flying, that's also because you're not allowed to fly on Shabbos. If I say I'm driving, it's also. You have to say it in a way that it's mutter.
So you ought to say something.
Discussing Shabbos in the summer last year, I remember I had my nephews, Yeshiva Bachram, and I told them tomorrow, I think on Sunday, I'm going to walk to Pennsylvania. And they look at me like I'm totally off the wall. I'm going to walk to Pennsylvania tomorrow. And because I wanted to tell them that I think that's what we're going to do something, but I didn't want to say it with something that's assur to do. So I said, I'm walking.
Might actually be burgundy.
Maybe.
Here in Pennsylvania.
What do you want to say? What do you want to ask? Somebody want to ask something?
I was gonna say, if it's something, if you're not gonna, let's say, I don't know anyone that would want to go on vacation to Cleveland. So if somebody says I'm gonna go on vacation to Cleveland, it's not shy. Is that something you're allowed to say?
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
But then it's not plausible.
What?
If he's saying going to Cleveland. In other words, it's something that theoretically is mutter.
Right.
It's just impossible.
So what about saying
anything.
Okay, so what about saying I'm going to Eretz Yisrael?
That necessitates.
L'chayra, you can't say, right? L'chayra, you can't say I'm going to Eretz Yisrael, right? Because there's no way to get to Eretz Yisrael beheter. Again, that's the aside here.
There's no way to go to Eretz Yisrael at all right now.
That's true too. That's true too.
So you're not saying anything.
Or maybe like his Tam Shtosim you're saying. Yeah, I hear. But the point is, the aside to know is that you're allowed to discuss it on Shabbos if there's a possibility of it being done beheter, even though it's very remote. As long as there's a possibility of being done beheter, then you're allowed. So let's see the Gemara discussed it weiter. Tnan, ein machshichin ala techum, nischar poilim. You're not allowed to you go on the edge of the techum to rent workers, lavi peiros, bishlam nischar poilim, to b'Shabbos loy mati agar. So of course, you're not allowed to go to the edge of the techum on Shabbos to rent workers because there's no way you're allowed to do that beheter. Lavi peiros. Maybe. Why don't we say no? Maybe he can go out to the edge of the techum on Shabbos because there is a way to do it beheter. He can build a fence all the way from his house all the way to the edge of the town, and therefore it's going to be in an eruv, and then he would theoretically be able to get his fruit.
He's
so
building that on Shabbos or before Shabbos?
No. As long as it's theoretically possible to go there to do it. It doesn't have to be able to be done on Shabbos, as long as he can build the fence before Shabbos. Maybe he did build the fence. You don't know. When he tells it to you at shul, you don't know if he built the fence already. I mean, not that it has nothing to do with that. It's just, as long as it's possible to get there in a way that's heter, then you're allowed. So more answers, no, it's going to be also in the case where the pairs are still attached to the ground. Since they're still attached to the ground, there's no way to get it beheter.
That's very hard to fit in with what we just said.
Why? They're attached to the ground. There's no way to get them.
Says, I'm going to get payers which are attached to the ground. If he just says, I'm going to get payers, well, what he's saying, because
so if he says, like, he can go to the market. He can go to the market. He can go to the grocery or whatever.
So what does he say in this case? What did he say?
He said, I'm going.
You could find such a case.
That's right, exactly right.
But he has
you're
to
right.
say,
correct.
I'm going to.
Do you have to specify? I mean, what is the default?
Otherwise, what's the?
I don't know. So I don't know. What would you see? What Gershon's asking. What Gershon's asking. What's the default when you say I'm going to get fruit? Does that mean you're referencing fruit that's attached to the ground or fruit that's detached from the ground? Right? He's saying that would be.
I mean, maybe if you live in Indiana, you're talking about it's attached. But everywhere, living in New York, how many people are detaching the produce themselves?
Right. No, I hear. I could be saying it's
the status quo.
Right. You're saying it's totally in your geography, maybe.
But isn't it all subjective?
Keep picking on Indiana. While you guys are dying of the corona, I'm sitting here just building up my stockpile of food.
Maybe go show and tell. Go pick some produce.
Wait, but this would answer though what he asked before. To say I'm going to walk to Cleveland is going to be assur.
Why? Because
it's assur. There's no way to do that. I have to.
Why? Talking about Bechlal or no? Why not? I could theoretically. I could make Borginen.
Yeah, but I can't walk that far.
So why would we assume that he would detach it? Meaning, if we're sitting there like you just said, Borginen, then he can go to Cleveland. So let's just make the assumption that it's detached already. Like you'd be done the kapsos.
No, that's true. And Hanami, I think, yeah, right. I think so. I think you would be able to say that. Also, yeah.
So we would have to know that the case is where the only payers are
attached, right? You'd have to know that it's yes.
There are no other possible payers that he could be talking.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
It's more than
I think you're right. Sure. Yeah.
Know that case.
Yeah. And then Gemara asks again, you're not allowed to go on the techum to darken yourself by the techum to bring grain and straw. So kash, we understand why you're not allowed to do it because it's attached to the ground. Where are you going to find teven? What would be the case of teven? Most teven is detached. So we say, but tivnasaria, right? It's bad smelling. It's bad smelling grain. So therefore, it's bad smelling. Nobody would ever use it. So therefore, it's muksa. Yeah, fine. So Toshima.
Does this fall under a concept of like Maris Ayin almost? Because I mean, you're talking to someone, and you have to be so careful about how you present it to them. It seems like it's just a Maris Ayin at like a base level on all of this. It's basically like you're trying to make it seem like you're not breaking Shabbos, you're not breaking halacha and all that stuff.
Right.
It just seems like it's Maris Ayin, and that's it. Why can't we just say it?
Kind of inverse of Maris Ayin.
I think what you asked, I don't know. I hear your question. That's a good question. Meaning we're busy making takonas, a whole everything at Shabbos that we're just going to make it assur because we're afraid you're going to do it. And now here it's such a fine line, and we're saying that it's mutter. Is that what you're asking, Simon?
Yeah.
I mean, here the difference between something being assur and being mutter is so fine. Why don't they just say, just don't discuss it? I hear. That's an excellent question. I don't know. Very good.
I said they knew Klal Yisrael.
What, and they knew Klal Yisrael would do that? I do believe that, Simon, I do believe that there's a lot of misunderstanding in Klal Yisrael with this. A lot of people, you start discussing like how much a trip to Eretz Yisrael costs. You don't have any interest to go in Eretz Yisrael. You're an anti-Zionist. You're a satmar, whatever. There's nothing wrong with discussing it, right? But then when they discuss, they start discussing something else that is negayah, so then they think that it's.
But I mean, the whole thing, the whole concept that we just the example we just gave, going from New York to Cleveland, and every 70 amos or whatever it is, you set up some type of hut to make it acceptable. Why is this is not normal, right? Like this is not a normal sense of like normal human beings aren't doing this. And yes, I know that the world was smaller back then. And you could theoretically walk from Yerushalayim to Tel Aviv. It might take you 2 days, but whatever. It's still not a normal act. So, like, even if you're discussing it, hey, I'm going to go to Tel Aviv tomorrow, no one in their right mind is going to say, oh, did you set up some booths every 70 amos to make this work for you today? Like, what is this? What are we talking about?
No, you're right. I hear. It's very schwer. It's a schwer Gemara. Yeah. I get. Maybe they felt like a kibbutz sort of thing. You got to give Klal Yisrael something to talk about on Shabbos. Maybe I don't know.
In this Shabbos, correct? You can say whatever you want.
Yeah. I know. I want to. There is a concept like that, but it's not. It's totally over. It's totally abused, but I don't have clarity on it. I thought to work on it today, and I didn't get around to it. Yeah, there is. That you say Mishna Shabbos. Believe that I'll try and look into it. Yeah. That what? That's too long. Okay, so right. Let's see. You're allowed to, but you are allowed to go out to the techum to be busy for something for a kala v'aliske mace. Right? Aliske kala mace in, aliske acher loy. So that means only for a kala and a mace, which is obviously a mitzvah. Right? So, but for somebody else, you're not allowed. Bishlama acher, do me the kala, mishkachas le mizgalei asa. The migzalei asa. So for a kala, for a person, we can compare it to kala. That's talking about if you want to go cut down some asa hadasim, right? So for the kala, I guess it's like flowers. So therefore, that would be also for a regular person. For a kala, it would be okay to walk there, not to cut them down on Shabbos, but at least to walk there to get closer. Right? What must it mean that you're walking on Shabbos to the techum, to the edge of the techum, to bring an aron, to bring what do you call it? We call aron a casket and a tachrichin and the clothing. For katani. Mace in aval acher loy. Maybe why don't we say no? Theoretically, the guy could have built fences all the way to the edge of the techum, and then we could have brought it for a regular person too. So mace namim shkachsol and migzalei glima. No, so but mace also if you need to cut up clothing for him. So that would be okay for you to walk out there for a mace, but he wouldn't be allowed to go out there for, to cut for a mace. You needed to actually cut the clothing. So that's something that would be assur, but we would allow you to do it for a mace, not to cut, just to walk out there. But for a regular person, we were not allowed. Should we stop here? It's a little late. Yeah, okay, I guess let's stop here tonight. Yeah, all right. Have yourselves a good one.
Liner, repeat Shema.
Oh, there you
Thank you. I need that. Thank you.
Can we please finalize the CM thing? I need to know if I'm coming in or not.
Guys, talk about it. Let us know what happens.
I say we change the plans and we go up to the mountains, to the rabbi.
Oh, now you're talking.
I say we go next Sunday up to the mountains. Not this Sunday. Next Sunday we go up to the mountains.
On Shabbos.
What?
We could all stay by Siako's bungalow.
You could add Gershon, if anybody wants to know, it ain't no luxury estates. Anybody can check in with Gershon on that.
What do you mean? You have kids trying to get all your food from your freezer. Must be
Is Aaron Kaplan still on there? Whatever the other wants.
all right.
Sooner rather than later,
Yeah.
possibly.
All righty. Have a good one.
Have a good night.
Good night.